Chris here from Videomaker, and you're watching our review of the Fostex TR-90s. In this review, we're going to cover all of the specs of the headphones, what comes in the bag, and its price and whatnot. As well, we're going to be covering how to buy headphones, what you need to know before you buy. Next, all of the tests and what we put the headphones through. Then, the value in the marketplace, and then our recommendation. Without further ado, here's that review. Fostex released the TR line at NAB 2016. Now that's the TR-90, TR-80, and the TR-70. They all have the same driver and the same price of $250. The difference is in their housing design. The TR-90 is a semi-open design, the TR-80 is a closed back design, and then the TR-70 is a open back design. Now, they all come with two different ohm load options, an 80 and a 250. And then they all come with two sets of ear pads, both a regular and a thick, two cables, a straight and a coiled, an 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, and a carrying bag. Before you buy any headphone, it's best to know what the specs mean. So let's go over some that relate to the TR-90. Now, the TR line has 3 housing designs, so if you're choosing between those 3, you better know what open, semi-open, or semi-closed, and closed headphones mean. Now, closed and open are very black and white, so a closed back is pretty much just means that the driver is isolated from the outside world. There's no breathing, it secures against your head. Now the open is the opposite, and is that it can breathe and you can hear the environment around you. The idea of semi-open or semi-closed, which are really just two different names for the same thing, is really the variance between the two. However, it's more on the open side than it is on closed. You're most definitely going to get more of a frequency response that's similar to an open headphone than you are a closed. Closed is going to allow for better bass and isolation from the world, or louder bass, and then the open headphones are going to feel more natural, but they're going to have more ambience from the world around you, trying to make it so it's hard to hear things or just hear any fine detail. Now next, you need to understand what the ohm load means. Now there's two different options with the TR-90 and 80 and 70, that is the 80 ohms or 250 ohms. Now this really depends on how you're going to use the headphone. An 80 ohm headphone, which is a lower ohm load on the headphone. Now your normal phone is going to be trying to operate probably somewhere in the 50 ohm range or so. So as close as you can get to that, the louder your headphones are going to seem. However, the higher the ohms, the better ability you're going to have the high ends reproduced correctly, as well as more transparency. The issue though is, why don't you just go and buy all high ohm headphones, is that they are actually quieter when used with lower ohm load listening devices. So your home stereo and your phone and your personal listening device, those are probably all low ohm load devices, so you're going to have best volume with a lower ohm load headphone. However, if you have a preamp, a headphone preamp, or you are okay with it being quieter, you're going to get a higher fidelity, more highs reproduced, more transparency with the higher ohm load. Now they do make headphones that go way up into 800 ohms, but those are very specialty products. That Fostex offers both a 80 and a 250, and then all 3 housing designs, is trying to make it so that you have a headphone in the TR line that's going to suit your purpose. Now they all have a 40 millimeter driver, and the idea about drivers is the larger they are, the better they are at reproducing the low frequencies, and so the smaller they are, the better they are at reproducing high frequencies, but the worse they are at the low end. And the same is true for larger drivers. So this isn't super big, but it's not small by any means, so it's definitely bigger than your earbuds you're going to experience, or what have you. And then lastly, you want to make sure that no matter what headphone it is, that it fits well, that you feel comfortable wearing it, that it fits your usage, if you're going to be wearing it around your neck, if you want to have them on your head, how you're going to be resting them, if you need one side to detach for some reason or another, or what have you. You need to understand your needs for fit, and the only way to deal with that, because everybody's anatomy, their head is going to be different, that fit's going to be different. So my experience with the headphones is different than any guy off the street, because, well, we probably don't have identical heads. So because of that, we're going to have different fit issues. Now I wear glasses most of the time, so that's something to consider. The back end of my glasses, will it seal? If I have a closed back headphone, I want it to seal against my head so I can have isolation. And if I am not able to have good enough seal, I'm not going to be able to have that isolation. So if you have an open back headphone, it might not be as necessary to have that seal because you're hearing the environment anyway. So those are things to really think about when you're making any decision on headphones before you even look at any model. So how did they perform? How did the TR-90s perform? So when we were using them, we covered the frequency response. We wanted to test that. We wanted to test how they fit in multiple situations, as well as how they performed in multiple situations, from listening to music to using them in production. So their frequency response. Let's start off with, what is the typical frequency response for the human ear? Well, that's 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Now, Fostex says that the TR-90s have a frequency response of 5 hertz all the way to 35,000 hertz. Now, that's super hearing, so most likely it was some kind of machine that did that test. So really all you can do, unless you have really great ears, is test it based on your own usage. And everybody's ears are going to have different amount of damage. If you're a musician, you probably have some ear damage, some frequency damage, or you worked in some kind of loud manufacturing or what have you, or sometimes it's just genetic and how you're born with it. So when we were testing them, we were able to do a test, and we heard actually a range from 20 hertz all the way to 18,000 hertz. So really pretty good. I mean, it's almost exactly the full spectrum of the human hearing, but just to give that a little bit of context, your earbuds that come with an iPhone, now those rated from 30 hertz all the way to 16,000 hertz, so not quite the same. So you think that's very little difference, but it actually is in the minutia that you're going to find the detail and the presence that you want. So that ability to replicate those frequencies is key when having a higher end headphone. So next is fit. So you have both the sets of headphones. You have the regular ones and the thicker ones. Now, since it comes also with 2 sets of cables, it really means you have some replacements when you wear them out. We wouldn't recommend switching in and out for lots of different uses unless you had to switch between them. You're just going to wear out the ear pads on both the regular and the thicker ones quicker. And well, it's just nice if you have a set of headphones. The ear pads almost always wear out, and they're pretty readily available to buy as replacements, as well as these cables. So we would start off with the thick, with the coiled cable. It seemed to work the best for what we are using it for. The longer cable maybe would fit other needs. The coil was just nice. And then the thicker head actually fit my anatomy better, so therefore I appreciated them better. But the regular ones fit just fine and had the same seal. They're just more comfortable with the thicker ones. And then lastly is, when you're using them, what do they work really well for? Well, we tested them just listening to music because we wanted to be able to compare it to something we know. So for us, it was a song, and we listened to that song on multiple headphones. It's something we know very well, that we've heard throughout our lives. And so we listened to those, and then we listened to the headphones, and man, they really sounded nice. Now, we're most likely not going to be recommending this. Someone wants to listen to just music with it. We're Videomaker. We're wanting to talk about production. So when we were using it for production, now it'd be fine in a studio when you have a closed set and it's somewhat quiet anyway. They were nice and comfortable. They breathed a little. The semi-open was nice because you got a little bit of isolation. But we did notice that the hum of our AC, well, it was messing with some of our frequencies. So if you want isolation and you have noise around you, you're going to want to close back. So that was the one experience we did when we were doing production, is if we were on location and there was just traffic noise or life happening around us, that they might not be the best choice. The TR-80s might be a better choice as far as housing design. The frequency response was really impressive on them, and we thought they sounded really good and were a good value for the money. So let's get to our last 2 parts, the value in the marketplace and our recommendation. So when you're shopping for headphones, well, there's a lot to choose from wireless to earbuds to over the ear to on the ear to consumer headphones to professional headphones, DJ headphones, and studio headphones. and everywhere in between. So you gotta know what you're using it for. You need to know what you need. Do you need a closed back headphone? Do you want it to be open so it breathes? Do you want it to have a high or a low ohm load? What are the characteristics that will help you get the job done better? And of course, what's your budget? So looking at the marketplace, apples to apples comparison, the Beyerdynamic DT250 is $250. It's a 250 ohm load, and it's a closed back headphone. So that means it's more like the TR-80, but it's very similar. And because of that, if you wanted to compare, if you're buying something in this space, those are the two to listen to. So lastly, what do we recommend? Do we recommend these headphones? Absolutely. They are good headphones. They sound really nice. They're a little expensive, but not necessarily for what you get. They're just not cheap. You know, they're $250. That's MSRP, so maybe you can go and shop and find it for a little cheaper. But they are a really nice sounding headphones. We would most definitely buy them if we had the budget for them, and they sound good. They're comfortable, and they'll work for a lot of different cases if you choose the right housing design. And of course, the ohm load is key. So if you can, or you have already a preamp for your headphones, they will really benefit from having that higher ohm load. So there you have it. That's our review of the Fostex TR-90s. If you'd like to buy this or anything else from Amazon for that matter, you can help support us and buy it using the link below, and we'll get a little bit of a cut, and well, I'll be able to keep the lights on. As well, if you'd like to buy the TR-80s or the Beyerdynamic DT250s, there'll be links for those as well. And hey, if you like this shirt and you want, Darth Vader on your chest, there's a link for it as well. Like, share, and comment. We want to know what you think. I'm Chris from Videomaker, and until next time, keep doing the hard work that you do. Bye-bye.